Warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and good day everyone. Alright, so today is our third week asynchronous lecture, and according to our plan, maknanya this session will be our last asynchronous lecture, because next week, week number 4, we are going to start our face-to-face class, kan? Alright, so untuk hari ni, we're going to start with a new chapter, chapter 2, ordinary differential equations, right? Okay, so as I said before, this chapter is not new to all of you, because in our engineering maths 1 we have discussed about this topic, differential equations, remember chapter 5. Okay, however, in this engineering maths 2 we are going to discuss further, right? So I'm gonna divide our chapter 2 into 3 parts. If you are aware, I have uploaded 3 parts of lecture notes for this chapter 2. Okay, so for today we are going to begin with part 1, and then we're going to have part 2. Part 2 focus on this. Okay, so focus on this for part 2, which is still in the first order differential equation. We're using the exact equation, and the second order we'll put it as part 3. Okay, part 3. Okay, so for today's asynchronous lecture, we are going to discuss on the part 1, which cover the following subtopics. Okay, so basically apa yang saya nak cover in this part 1 ni, dia macam siaran ulangan dah, exactly the same as what I have taught you in engineering maths 1 chapter 5. Okay, where we are going to discuss on the first order differential equation using two methods, separable method and using the integrating factor. Ingat tak? Okay, so since benda ni adalah siaran ulangan, I'm not going to discuss into detail again, but we just recap it, and then afterwards I will link you with the video that I have prepared for you masa engineering maths 1 dulu, sebab benda yang sama je. Okay, so right, boleh Alright, so before begin, let me introduce to you again about this ODE, ordinary differential equation. Alright, so kenapa ODE ni penting sebenarnya in real life application, especially dalam when we want to design something, okay, may it be in engineering or technology punya application lah. Okay, so we have a physical system, right? Okay, but from the physical system we develop the mathematical model. Okay, we develop a mathematical model. Okay, example saya akan tunjuk, there are few examples kat sini lah. Okay, kat sini ada, ataupun actually for example, the simplest example is maybe the water tank. Okay, we have a physical system of a water tank, for example. Okay, pada water tank tu maknanya kita we accumulate the water, and then daripada air tu nak mengalir to the water tank kat rumah lah ni, katakanlah we have a water tank at home, and then daripada water tank ni we want to supply the water to all the piping system at our house, kan? So how fast is the rate of the water to flow out from the water tank, for example. Okay, so yang kat situ tu kita boleh decide actually, okay, how fast is the water, so that it is possible untuk accommodate all the demand dekat dalam rumah tu for the whole household. Okay, so that is the simplest example lah. Okay, so how fast is the rate the water flow out to, we may come out with a mathematical model. okay, with a mathematical model. Maknanya the variable tu apa, how fast is the rate of the water flow out the water tank. You need to know berapa isi padu water tank tu, okay, and then dalam masa berapa minit dia nak keluar. So we are able to come out with the rate of change, and daripada situ kita boleh dapatkan kita punya equation. Okay, mathematical model tu we come out with the equation, dan daripada equation tu lah we are able to determine what is the suitable size of the water tank. What is the suitable size of the water tank? Bila kita mengambil kira berapa orang yang nak guna, how many toilet, berapa dapur, berapa pipe yang kita ada kat rumah tu. Okay, that is the simplest example lah. So maknanya dari sini what I'm trying to say is we have the design, okay, kita nak buat sekian-sekian physical system, and we design, kita nak air ni supaya dia boleh supply kepada berapa bilik air, ada berapa pipe, and berapa orang guna, semua-semua tu. So we do not want to have a shortage of water. Okay, so we design how fast is the flow of the water coming out from the water tank. So daripada situ bila kita come out with the differential equation, we solve the differential equation, we are able to determine the size of the water tank, for example. Macam itulah. Okay, so that is how it all related. Okay, physical system, mathematical model, mathematical solution, and physical interpretation. So physical interpretation ni maksudnya kita dah dapat lah the size of the water tank. Alright. Okay, so for our case here, we have ordinary differential equation. Maksudnya kat sini, what does it mean by ordinary differential equation? Is that differential equation that depend on a single variable. So for this chapter 2, we just discuss on a single variable. Maknanya y in terms of x sahaja, ataupun x in terms of y, ataupun y in terms of t sahaja, the variable dia. But in the coming chapter 5, we have what we call as a partial differential equation. Kat situ kita akan ada more than one variable. Okay, so these are the few examples that the examples of application that I just talked about tadi. Okay, one of it is about the falling stone from the top of the building, and then the parachute. Okay, how fast is the parachute is moving, and so is the water tank yang saya dah cerita tadi kan. Okay, so as you can see, all these have its own equation where we call it as a mathematical model. Dan daripada sini, when we solve the mathematical model ni, we are getting the physical parameter that satisfy this mathematical model or differential equation. Okay, so to understand this, basically you dah faham dah sebenarnya what macam mana nak solve tu kan. Part of it lah for first order differential equation. So I'm explaining again here untuk menjelaskan lagi why do we have to learn this ordinary differential equation, supaya you makin nampak lah in real life application. So maknanya bukan sahaja terhenti di sini sahaja about differential equation in engineering maths tu, lepas ni tak ada dah, tak jumpa dah. No. Okay, you may find them again or found them again dalam other subjects, or maybe when you involve in your work later, okay, you berjaya menjadi seorang engineer ke juru teknologi ke whatsoever, and you are required to design something, then you may come up with this kind of things again. Alright, so it's fundamental for you to understand, okay, on this lah. Okay, so ni ada lagi dia punya applications, displacement of a spring, and then ni kalau graph pula, bits of a braking system, and I'm sure right now you're very familiar with this circuit. Ingat circuit, ingat Dr. Muhammad, betul tak? Okay, we're talking about the circuit theory now. Okay, we have what we call this as RLC circuit. Okay, and from this RLC circuit, sebenarnya you may come up with a differential equation as well, where how fast is the current is flowing, or the capacitor is charging, and so on. Dan daripada situ, we are required to solve the RLC equation ni to get the suitable value of the resistor, capacitance, and inductance for that particular circuit. Alright, so maybe this equation you tak belajar lagi lah dalam circuit lita peranti tu. Okay, but in a higher level, you may required to solve this equation. Okay, in order to come out with the proper circuit. Alright. Okay, starting from here, sebenarnya macam tadi the first few slides tu in our engineering maths 1 saya tak ada discuss into detail lagi lah. Okay, but starting from here, this slide I think all this slide we have discussed this dalam engineering maths 1, so I'm not going to repeat it again. So kalau siapa-siapa yang dah lupa, I'm going to attach again the YouTube that we have for engineering maths 1 dalam e-learn for engineering maths 2 ni. Okay, so for this one I ask you to just rewind balik YouTube yang saya dah up sebelum ni dalam engineering maths 1. Okay, but maybe I'll try to discuss, to recap back lah some example here in the next video. Okay, maknanya nanti dalam e-learn saya akan susun my YouTube ni. This is as the first YouTube, and then the following YouTube part 2, part 3 semua tu I just give you the link from the previous lecture dalam my engineering maths 1 punya YouTube. Okay, and you may also skip lah mana-mana part yang you rasa you dah faham apa semua tu, then that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here dalam for part 1 of my video, and in the next video maybe the last part of recorded yang untuk sekarang ni saya akan consider untuk discuss maybe example 4 ni. We'll see how. Okay, alright.